November 15th, 2023. Well, I told you so. I mean, I said that if they did remove McCarthy as speaker, that what did I said two things would happen. One, they would pick somebody you probably have never heard of before unless you happen to be in the person's district or something. And two, he'd end up doing just about the same thing that McCarthy did, which is that he would basically keep the government open with a continuing resolution. And they wouldn't get all these individual bills passed in time because of the reality of the situation that we have a very narrow majority in the House. It's a very contentious group of people in it. And on the other hand, the Senate, controlled by the Democrats, are very unlikely to be very receptive to our ideas. So the result is that you either shut down the government, and ultimately there would be a political price to be paid for that, regardless of what people think about the government. Um, this is a real thing, and the other thing is that you need to be able to get your program through now. So effectively, you need to have more of a narrowly focused set of objectives, which you stick behind, rather than being divisive with everybody trying to do their own individual thing. So, so that's kind of the situation we're now in. And of course, now with the continuing resolution, well, it's got to, apparently it will also get through the Senate, and of course the government will be kept open. By the way, really lengthy government shutdowns aren't very useful for winning elections, by the way. And I don't care how many ultra conservatives on Twitter think so, they're going to find out that's not really true. Now, on the other hand, short government shutdowns um, aren't that damaging, particularly if they happen the year before the election. If they happen right before the election, that could be a different thing. So anyhow, but so far I think the Republicans are showing themselves to be fairly anarchical. We still got this idiot Matt Gaetz running around now. He's threatening this guy, as I understand. This is and he's got a ethics complaint against McCarthy, who allegedly elbowed Burchett in the kidney or something. I don't know. These guys are getting kind of feisty there. But at any rate, I think that's also a little bit of whatever, horseplay in Congress, I guess. But the main thing is that you know you need to be more focused. Like for instance, the Israeli aid thing, although which was going to be paid for by cutting back the money for the IRS that the Democrats appointed. Well, that's gone nowhere in the Senate. And one reason it definitely was going to go was the IRS. I mean, that was the killer clause, if nothing else was. What it would have done if it had been a clean bill, I don't know, but it might have had some chance that pressure might have built on it. But as a on the other hand, this whole impasse has basically blocked additional aid to Ukraine, and I think that may actually have some long-term impact. By the way, if you like these videos, please give me a like. You can subscribe if you haven't already. I need to get some more subscribers. I think I lost one the other day over something. And of course, you can ring the bell for notifications. So this is, but anyhow, this is the situation we're in. I think that that it's going to be a hard time to get this bunch of dingbats to work effectively. I'm rather totally disappointed because I mean they've wasted a lot of time when they could have been working on trying to get all the bills passed. And I'm not saying that McCarthy was great either, but and this guy's not bad. But I mean, if they replace him, they'll get somebody else that'll probably do about the same thing. And that's what seems to be that some people can't really get to their little noggin. That we don't have full control of the government, so doing anything that's really dramatic is going to be difficult. I think this would be a time to put a little bit more pressure on for border security, given the situation in the Middle East and the fact that a lot of people from terrorist backgrounds seem to be getting into the country. That there might be a little bit of pressure to do that. Plus, I think a lot of the urban areas where all these immigrants are going to are starting to get a little fed up with the situation. I mean, I understand even some of the immigrants are getting fed up and want to go back home. but that might be something to put in the bill, is to put in a program for free tickets back to where they came from if they want to go. So to make it easy for them to hop on a flight back to wherever. That sounds like a good idea to me. But as it is, you know, because the more of them that go back, I think the more that will kind of understand this wasn't quite what they thought it was going to be. So anyhow, we'll have to kind of follow up. We got Biden meeting with Z, of course, as this is during this period of time coming up effectively in the days ahead. And I understand that Biden is trying to press for some kind of a climate deal, which I don't think China is going to really do a whole lot on the climate issue. And something else about not having AI and drone weapon systems or nuclear systems. So I guess he's trying to avoid the situation from the movie from around 1970 or so called Colossus, the Forbin Project, where we turned our ICBMs over to a AI type computer, which immediately starts engaging in nuclear blackmail to achieve global domination after it talks to its counterpart in Russia, and they make a deal. Machine over. Anyway, I guess we'll maybe we'll make some progress on that. Although I'm dubious China is not going to do that. I don't know. But I guess they don't want the things to go off completely autonomously and start attacking people. Huh? Saw too many Terminator movies. But anyhow, this is the kind of thing that's going on here. I don't suspect there'd be anything too beneficial for us in that. On the other hand, I guess like I was mentioning that with the aid not going to Ukraine for some time now, we don't know when this is going to get worked out. It looks like it may not get passed until next year. So that would be what, a whole quarter, at least 3 months with nothing. And of course, the Russians allegedly are amping up for a winter offensive now, and supposedly, according to the Ukrainians, they've stockpiled something like 1,000 missiles to launch winter barrage. Meanwhile, they're trying to blame some colonel in the Ukrainian military for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. However, by the way, I understand that he was indicted on some other issues and is facing trial, and also he denies that he had anything to do with blowing up the pipeline, which I think is likely as well. I'm going to go with Seymour Hersh over this latest version. I think it's pretty clear cut that the U.S. are the ones that did it, not the Ukrainians on a sailboat. Because we do have the capability, and the sailboat people probably didn't. But anyhow, so that's kind of my viewpoint on that. I just thought that I just had to make a comment that this has turned out exactly the way I said it was, which is why people should listen to me. I'm fairly good at this stuff, actually. And but anyhow, we'll see where we go from there. I don't expect any real successful agenda for the Republicans and this Congress, actually, given its chaotic nature and unwillingness to be disciplined. But the good thing is if they can remain in control, they can at least prevent a lot of things that the Democrats would do if they're in control. Which is another thing I kind of keep getting annoyed with, is that the Republicans need to get their game together and start laying down why the Democrats are bad. I mean, they are. And I think that although you have people on the talk show hosts and Fox News, Newsmax that will put out these ideas, I notice how much the political people themselves aren't directly doing it. While the Democrats continually lash out at MAGA Republicans and how extreme they are and all that nonsense, while we're just sitting back trying to play by some kind of a let's don't be offensive type act. And that's not the way to do this. We need to point out that the Democrats are actually responsible for a lot of the crime that's happening in our cities. And that crime is actually hurting many of the very groups that they claim to be advocates for. I mean, if rioters clean out all the drugstores in a black neighborhood, excuse me, and if people have to get on a bus ride or something to go to some distant store to get their prescriptions filled, that's not exactly very helpful to the people in their community. And of course, the majority of the violent crime ends up being black on black anyhow. So, I mean, this whole idea of standing down on police protection, which is still a prevailing problem, even after years after this Floyd incident. So, anyway, just another example of the kind of things, plus the immigration problem, the cities having all these increasingly having to pay for these immigrants who are really not doing much of anything here. You have all the human trafficking, young girls and probably even boys drug into prostitution. These things, we need to start attacking these things much more aggressively, I think. I mean, I understand it's mentioned, but it's not mentioned with quite the fervor that they attack the MAGA Republican. And besides, what's so bad about making the country great? What's their deal? They want it to not be great? Well, I guess so. Meanwhile, I guess, as I understand, and the Israel has gotten to the hospital. We'll see how that goes. I understand that's underway now, where the Hamas command center is located. I don't know whether they're keeping hostages in there or they're at some other location. So, at any rate, that's kind of ongoing and be a bit of a process there. Meanwhile, I understand that Biden is talking about releasing more money to Iran while we're still being attacked, having our bases being attacked. I mean, that seems to me to be something that should be a non-starter. So anyhow, I'll be of course be posting this on my backup channel on Rumble also, and the addresses of my social media accounts are in the description below. So until next time.